Okay, I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, or if you guys are going to get to see it at all. Um, but yeah, I wanted to go over the Wuthering Waves tier list as well, just because I haven't done it in a long time, and we're at the what are we 3.0 mark, or I don't know what yeah 3.0 patch. Um, I figure let's just do it. The main reason I don't do it is because I don't. Wuthering Waves has so many more characters than Zenless, and the meta's like so much different that um, I'm less educated on it, but I don't know, whatever. Being not knowing about something has never stopped anybody from talking about it, right? This is the internet. We all talk about things we don't understand every day. But I'm just gonna talk about it a little bit. Not gonna go super into detail because I don't know a lot about how all the characters work. So we're just gonna get into it. So we got hybrids, DPS, and I look at it every so often. It's something I'm not going to, but yeah. So DPS hybrids. Honestly, I think Frolova should be in the hybrid section because I don't know who uses her as a main DPS. Like I use her on everything, and she's a sub DPS because she can be off field and do most of her damage. Does any? I mean, I guess my question is: does anybody use her when she goes into her ult mode? Does anyone just stay as her in her ult mode and move the little Hecate around and do stuff with her? Um, I guess maybe it's just the buffs. The fact that Trelova doesn't give out any buffs other than her outro skill, I think that might be why she's not. She's just DPS. Anyway, um, I kind of agree with all this. I don't have Galbrenna, but I'm surprised to see that she's here. I didn't realize how powerful she was, but I had people think she's here. But in terms of these three, I 100% agree that they're here, which is one of those things where it's like, you guys can see why I pair her with like Cardathea or Augusta. Having two of the most top, tier zero units together is ridiculous, especially if you know how to quick swap them well enough. Um, Again, the fact that Lene is here and she dropped everyone else out of this hybrid tier zero spot is kind of interesting to me. Do I think she deserves it? Again, if you guys saw the Tower of Adversity video I made, um, I think she's good, but it's more that she has high value. She's not really good in any particular place, but I think for one, her buffs aren't like the greatest. They're not. I think I wouldn't put her on the same level as Shorekeeper, but her buffs are fine. She does her own personal damage, which is fine too. I think one of the things that the main reason people hype her is because she's universal. Like every unit, she can go on every team. It doesn't matter what team you're running, she can go on that team and help it out a lot. So in terms of that, I think as a new player, she's not a must pull, but she's 100% like you're gonna get a lot of ROI on her. Um, so anyway, I think she's not bad here. The fact that the other thing is she's not as specific. So she's only good for arrow teams and especially arrow erosion. She's only good for fire teams. You know what I mean? Like she's good for any team. Not to mention because we're in the new kind of tune break meta, having a boost in that area is always a good thing. So I think those are the two main factors. Because we're going into tune break or whatever, she's going to be good for that as well as the fact that she's kind of universal. She can go on any team. Um, a lot of units are going to be missing out on the 24% or 25% liberation damage bonus, but that's not that big a deal because she gives out so many other buffs. And obviously, Shorekeeper here, best healer, support in the game. She's good at everything. Before we go any lower, let's take a look at TOA. So this is all TOA. If she has her signature, it bumps her up. So now she's up here, and her signature bumps her up. Obviously, her signature is fine. Um, that's interesting. So let's go look at Whimpering Wastes. Uh, for Lovo being tier zero and Whimpering Wastes, kind of interesting. I think it makes sense. I agree with this because she makes Whimpering Wastes so much easier. You're not like fighting to. You're not like scrambling around to get this guy or that guy. You bring her in. She has a lot of gathering. First of all, she does her thing, and then she ults, and now she's in her little like whatever phase, and she just like does what she wants, and whatever unit you're using, you swap over to. You guys have seen me use her with Augusta, so Augusta starts doing her thing while Furlough's in the background cleaning up whatever you can't reach. So it's just fantastic. So Yeah, I 100% agree with this. I think she deserves to be up here in tier 0 by herself. And then obviously, Shorekeeper with her buffs is insane. Um, Especially that astral, like the big old circle. It covers like the entire arena anyway. So and nothing changes between signatures or without signatures. Let's go back here. So now we're in tier 0.5. She obviously came up because Lene boosts her. So apparently right now probably the best team in the game is Lene Lene and Shorekeeper, I think. Unless it's like Augusta, then Lene. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. Um, but yeah, the fact that Carlotta's down here, I think there's not enough buffs shilling her, so that's kind of where her problem is. Um, yeah, sure. Like her DPS is also like there's not a whole lot of buffs. Her DPS is very direct. She just hits people. We're getting meta like you guys saw the TOA video where it's like if you have a shield, you get this many bonuses. If you have like negative status effects, you get this kind of bonus. You know what I mean? So like, there's not a whole lot shilling her direct damage. So that's kind of where she's at right now. Um, is fine on both of these sides. The fact that Arrow Rover's up here purely like the only person who can use Arrow Rover is Cardathea. And the fact that she's up here is insane. Well, I use female Arrow Rover, so that's why I say she. But could be a he or she. But yeah, the fact that they're up here is kind of insane. That like that somebody would say that Arrow Rover is on the same level as Verena is kind of interesting to me. Um, I've used them. He doesn't do it. First of all, they don't stack up anything. You know what I mean? So like the fact that he's here and Chisa's like down here is wild to me because first of all, Chisa's Havoc Bane drops their defense by 16%. Then her outro skill. Let's go look at her. What's her outro skill? Passive skills, concerto skills. Does passive count? Does it count as a passive skill? No. Outro skill. Okay, well, I don't know. It's in here somewhere. You have to like look up what all these like threat of bane is and all this other stuff. Anyway, and it doesn't have the little whatever compendium. Again, maybe the calculations are different, but I don't know. Just the fact that like, because what does he do? All he does basically is extend the stack limit. So now instead of only having 3 arrow erosion, you can have 6. She does that plus all the defense shred in the world, which is I don't know. Just to me, I find it interesting that he's here and she's not. But I don't know. It's just me. Not to mention, well, he does give out like 10% arrow damage buff. Plus, I think his weapon gives out like another 15 or whatever, 20%. But she also gives out a 20 something percent. Well, let's go look at the with weapons. Yeah, okay, they moved her up. Again, even without her weapon, I think she still deserves to be here, but that's just me. Yeah. It's annoying. It's kind of this is the other reason I didn't do the Wuthering Waves tier list. Is like they got 4 different categories, and some of them don't even change that much. Like look at this. Nothing changes between signatures and non-signatures. Why does it choose categories for it? But whatever. And I said a lot of these don't even matter. Like her with and without her signature doesn't matter. She still I think deserves to be here. Him, the fact that all these dropped, like I said, it's kind of interesting. She's too specific to Arrow. She helps Frazzle, but it's not. You're not going to run her for that. Is too specific to Augusta. She's all right. She helps a lot of people, but again, Augusta's the main thing. This guy's kind of a little more generalist. I think he gives out like a crit damage buff, and I forgot what other things he does, but there's a reason he's in tier 0.5 apparently across the board, as you can see there. While Lupa's like the best, one of the best units in the game, but she's universal to fire, but there's not enough fire to say that she's one of the best units in the game. You know what I mean? In a fire team, obviously no one's better than her, but like here's all the fire units. You want to know how many fire units? 1, 2, 3, 4. You know how many fire units go with her? 1, 2, 3, because he needs to be somewhere. I use them, but that's not how you're designed to use them. But yeah, so that's kind of her main problem. It's not that Lupa isn't good. It's just that There's not enough fire in this game to really sustain having a unit like this. Um, though we do have Galbrena, so as things open up and she goes more general, the kind of the same way Lene is, I think we'll see Lupa move up again. Um, Especially like if you take Lupa and now you combine her with Mornier, who's coming out soon, who's another fire unit. There you go. Those two together, and you have a fire version of Lene plus Lupa plus whoever else. If you want to main Galbrena or you want to main Chang Li or whatever, now you go. You have a fantastic team in that trio there. So I think with Mornier, it's making Lupa a little more universal. Obviously, she's still going to be fire based. It's just that you have more options in that way. Um, Obviously, Zanny kind of fell off a little hard just because people realized how much you really do need, how much you really do need. What's her name? Phoebe, and Phoebe's over here just struggling, kind of falling off just because of how her job is just to stack up spectral frazzle. I think Cardathea was a way better designed unit around the debuffs. Like these two are kind of similar. It's just that her design when it comes to the debuffs is a lot better. Um, what changes here? So these two stay the same with or without their little whatevers. These all stay the same. He gets launched up here from here into here when he gets his signature, and she does too. Whimpering Wastes. Interestingly enough, this makes sense just because she has such wide ranging attacks. Like her purple resonance liberation hits such a huge area, as well as her charge attack or her heavy attack. Um, these are all fine. Obviously, Lupa's fantastic in Whimpering Waste because of just her everything. She has these huge sweeping attacks, so that's pretty good. Um, Verina's here solely on how fast she rotates. Like she comes in, takes like 2 seconds, and leaves, and she has her buffs up the entire time. So, in Whimpering Waste, having obviously in Whimpering Waste as well as Tower of Adversity, time is really important. But in Whimpering Waste, it feels like it's a little more important not to be spending time on someone like Verina doing swap cancels or whatever. So she just come in, does her thing, and leaves, and then you can go back to doing whoever you're doing with whoever else. Um, I've actually has so much in here with Frolova is good just because she's Frolova's like main partner, so that's good. Again, the weapons don't matter here. I don't think the weapons matter here at all in any of these parts. Let's go look here. Yeah, I don't think it changes anything in the Whimpering Wastes meta. I'll probably just do these one at a time. So we'll do TOA first and go from there. Um, she's not super good just because like her damage is falling off really well. She's good at like AOE stuff, but like in TOA, it's very kind of more singular focus. There's waves where like there's more than one enemy, but it's mainly just how quick can you burn down one enemy. Um, it was kind of surprising that Jinshi's here because she has the same problem. He's super AOE. Um, all these guys are the same thing. Chen Li is good. The thing with Chen Li is she's good universally, but she's not very good in specific cases, right? So she's just kind of good at like everything. She just kind of does a decent amount of damage to everybody, but she doesn't focus it, and that's kind of what like Carlotta does. Carlotta's very good at DPSing one dude. Um, that's why she's as you can see the little there T2 in Whimpering Wastes. She's not very good at AOE. Again, he's great. I was talking about him in the TOA video I released earlier. He's great, but he's kind of limited to either Gian or Augusta. Again, you can use him on other units. There's nothing wrong with that. And other teams, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're not making most use out of him. The fact that Bu Ling is already here is pretty awesome because I like Bu Ling. She's a lot of fun. Her, if you mindscape her all the way to S6, her with as you can see here, this little tag S0 drops her down one. So if you don't have her S6, she's down here. But her with a 50% skill damage bonus with her is ridiculous. Like her with where is it with Jija and Carlotta is like fantastic because her buff helps Jija, and then Jija buffs Carlotta. But this buff also overlaps and buffs Carlotta too, so she's getting all the buffs. It's like ridiculous. I don't have Jija, so I use her with her, and both of them benefit from this. Most of her damage is skill damage, but not all of it. So again, the fact that Chisa's here is kind of, I think she should be higher. Um, he is here as this one's here as a necessity because like if it weren't for Zanny, this unit would not be used anywhere at all whatsoever. They don't offer anything to anybody. So this person's only here based off of Zanny. Um, yeah. So it's interesting to see that Encore is here. Apparently, she's pretty decent. Like Encore, I didn't know that Encore was probably on the same level as Zhang Liao in terms of their DPS, but apparently they're close enough. Which means I should probably go build Encore then. Give her some give her a decent build and see how she does. Because if she does as good as Zhang Liao, that's pretty interesting. Um, Interesting to see Kentrilla down here. I don't have her. I kind of wanted to pull for her, but whatever. Jija is fine. She's like, it's funny that she's fallen so far behind Mortifi, but I think it's Mortifi's mainly just here because again he helps Augusta. I'm pretty sure he helps Galbrenna too, because Galbrenna does heavy plus echo skill damage, so that's another unit that can use that. So I think like Galbrenna, her, and him might be a pretty good team. There's no health here. There's no sustaining here, right? There's no healing or anything, but be an interesting team regardless. To see Songhua fall down, that kind of sucks because normally she used to be up here because she's just like her rotation is so fast. She comes in, intro, skill, ult, or intro, ult, skill, one or the other, whichever one. I usually just skill because the animation for the skill isn't long; it's very short. But you can skill and immediately ult, and you still get the skills little icicles plus the ult icicles. It's just her rotation's like 1 second, and the fact that you can cancel her skill into her ult immediately makes her rotation like half a second. You know what I mean? Like you're shaving off so little time, but I think it's still worth it. So, and all the it's funny that all the 4 stars who are up here because this Apex we only have 5 stars, right? He's a free to play 5 star, so I kind of count him as a 4 star, but whatever. Um, the all the three, well, I guess aside from this one, but these 3 4 stars are only up here because of S6. If you have them at S5 or S0 or yeah, if you have them at S0, they'll drop down a bracket. So this one comes down here, this one comes down here, and she falls into niche characters. Um, but I think it's funny that they all need the S6. Basically, heading the S6 just basically means each one of these has like an extra bonus. His S6 gives him 20% to the whole team. Her S5, I think, gives 20% attack to the whole team. And her S6 gives 50% res skill to the whole team. So either way, I think it's just that one little buff that puts them up. Without that buff, they all fall down one. The fact that she is a healer means that she can run the healing set and the rectifier and all that stuff. So she can, it's just the fact that she's in that class gives her this, because she doesn't do anything particularly interesting. And then here are all the off meta characters. Man, where are we? We're in Tower Adversity. Brant has a main DPS. Okay, that's why. Brant is a hybrid. He's over here. But if you want a main DPS, Brant, it's kind of sad that he's just as good as Calcharo is. What is this? So if you're good with Calcharo, he moves up to here. So basically, if you're not trying at all with Zhang Liao, you're gonna do as good, if not better, than Calcharo. But I think the fact that Lene is here might have boosted them up a little bit. Like he moved up from here. He went from here to here. Which that kind of sucks because it just means he's not that good a character. Rochia, I hope nobody summoned for Rochia. I didn't. I mean, I would never have summoned for Rochia, and I kind of knew. I was like, as soon as she came out, I looked at her kit and I was like, "Who's gonna summon for this? Like, who cares?" And the fact that she's here is like, well, it is what it is. So I hope nobody summoned for Rochia. She's just not worth it. I don't know what anyone was thinking. It does kind of suck though to see Yinlin down here. Like she could use a buff, but this isn't Zenless, and I don't think they're gonna buff any characters here. I think we're just gonna take the L. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But yeah, all the rest of these are fine. Lin Yang is always gonna be trash until they buff him. He should be like at the bottom of like there should be a new tier like tier what happened tier 0 point tier 4, and he should be down here behind everybody. Even she's better because she gives out her outro skill gives out resonance skill damage plus she gives out a shield, which is not great, but there's a lot of shield buffs out there that are like, oh, if the unit has a shield, they get this, this, and this, right? So just having a shield on you can be useful. Um, she gives battery, she gives energy, whatever. I don't know how either of these two units work because I don't use them, but apparently they're trash anyway, so I'm not gonna invest any time into learning how to use them. I think one of the things with the tune break effect is instead of fusing it with the vibration bar, or whatever the stun meter, they made an entirely new bar. When the tune break effects should have been tied to the stun meter to begin with. You know what I mean? They should have been like one and the same. And that would have fixed so much of like a lot of these issues. It would have fixed him a little bit. He would have gone up a little, but we can't have that. We have to have an entirely new mechanic to sell entirely new characters, right? So anyway, that's kind of my view on that. Is they could have just done more with the stunning mechanic. The stun mechanic in this game is so boring and useless, especially because so many characters don't care. Like Zhang Liao does all his DPS whether they're stunned or not. Calcharo needs them to be not moving so he can get all his DPS out. Instead of either working around that, they just started releasing more people that were like, "Oh, here's all this invincibility, so that we can just get all our damage out." Because she does the same thing that Calcharo does, only time is stopped. You know what I mean? She gets her own stun window. I don't know. The vibration, whatever reverberation meter mechanic was just half baked. They just threw it in there because why not? It's like, oh, you'll stop them, but like nobody here cares about whether they're doing anything or not. I think I don't know. It's just the way I look at it is it's kind of irritating. It's just a missed opportunity. That's why I like Zenless so much. Is they did a good job capitalizing on that meter, the stun meter, because it's just something you have to play around and all that stuff. What kind of major changes do we see when the signatures move around? It's interesting to think that again, Coucharo moves up one, so technically he's here if you know how to play him. But him with or without his signature is apparently just as strong as Coucharo is. Right? That's kind of weird. Yeah, I think that the whole with signature is kind of stupid. Because what does this mean? Does this mean like, okay, so with their signature, this is how good they are at their apex. But without their signature, are you factoring in, are you saying this is them with a 4-star weapon? Or are you saying this is them with an emerald, like one of the Genesis weapons, right? One of the 5-star free-to-play weapons? Or what if like, because if I pull for Zhang Liao, I'm gonna use Zani's weapons on him, right? So is this like, oh, them with another 5-star weapon? There's no like clarity here. It's just make the, I don't know why this signature thing is here. Signatures aren't even that big a difference. For some of these units, yes, but for a lot of these units, no. It's not really that big a difference. So we're looking at Whimpering Wastes now, and their lists are basically exactly the same. Yeah, again, one of the issues with her is she doesn't do enough like AoE, like bringing them together. She has some moves that kind of gather them, but a lot of them are just, they don't really care. Like her resonance skill in Fleur de Lis form kind of sucks enemies together, but other than that, it's whatever. Her ult does a pretty good job of like cleaving through a bunch of units, so that's pretty good. Chang Li again, her multiplier is just kind of low. Lene as a Whimpering Waste AoE kind of fighter isn't super great either. But it's kind of funny that like in Whimpering Waste, she is as good as Bu Ling. You know what I mean? So that's kind of interesting to think about. Obviously, a lot of these are single target. Like obviously, she's single target. He's kind of more of a single target. She's heavy single target. She's not bad. Again, I would probably put her a little higher, but that's just me. Like she's single target. Like all the people who have issues here are single. Wow, that's kind of interesting that like somehow Ling Yang is higher. Like he goes from being trash all the way up here. You know what I mean? I guess that's pretty good. My issue with Yin Lin is I think that like I don't know why she's here. She should be a lot lower in Whimpering Waste specifically. Because in Whimpering Wastes, well, maybe not super low, I guess here is fine, right? But the thing is, her coordinated attack, she has to come out, put a mark on them, and then swap out, right? In Whimpering Wastes, it's wave after wave after wave. So once you kill the wave she has her marks on, her buffs are gone. Well, not her buffs, but like, you know what I mean? That coordinated attack is gone. Like, she can't coordinate attack anymore because the people who had that mark are gone. So they have to swap into her again, reapply the mark, and then swap off. So that's kind of one of the things where it's like, her and Whimpering Wastes kind of sucks. Like, Jizha should be a lot better than her. Like either you move Jizha up or you move Yinlin down in Whimpering Wastes. Um, but I think the fact that she has like her rectifier and it hits so many different units at once is what's keeping her up here. I don't think she should be up here just because again, her main thing is the coordinated attacks from her like lightning whatever's, and that gets like that's not useful here. It just doesn't work very well. So um, again, and it's just because it's based off of marks. You have to mark the unit, and if they're not marked anymore, it doesn't do anything. So yeah, let's see what else here. I guess that's everything. Yeah. Again, this is why I don't really go over the Wuthering Waves tier lists a lot, is because there's not a lot of changes and there's a lot of units that don't do a whole lot in this game. Like, what does Chikona do? She gives out 100% arrow damage buff. That's like the whole thing. That's all she does. Obviously, she puts on arrow erosion. Obviously, she puts on a little bit of frazzle stacks. Obviously, she has like her like singing mode or whatever. It's like, but who cares? She's here just because she has a 100% arrow damage buff on her outro skill, right? So that's that. Um, what else? Yeah, I guess that's everything. Not a whole lot to talk about here. Again, I think Lene being here is for one her universality, and two the fact that she takes care of tune break, and she makes that easier. So that's what you're looking for. If that's what you need. Right now, we're not at the point where we need tune break. There's a few bosses. I think what's her name? The new holographic whatever, where you fight against who was it? Dreamless, the big lady with the scythe. You know, the enemy, the Echo with the scythe, and the one that I think you fight in season 1 as the final boss or whatever. That's like that one got released again in a new hologram thing, and you kind of need tune break for that one. And I did that. I 6-starred it. I think whatever the max stars are, using her and her. I think the fact that she could tune break made that easier because it would have been a struggle to have beaten that boss without any kind of tune break ability, especially because it's one of those bosses when you get to 6 stars. Every hologram is like this. End game, you get to 6 stars or whatever, the max rank. Everything just one shots you. And if it doesn't one shot you, you got lucky. So now it's gonna 2-shot you. You know what I mean? Like that to me is the most difficulty comes from that is like which what else are you gonna do, right? There's no other there's not a whole lot of other avenues for difficulty. But one of the difficulties is just the boss is gonna one shot you. You know what I mean? Like, and that to me isn't super fun. They're more frustrating than anything else. But again, what are you gonna do, right? So, but yeah, I think a lot of these are they kind of match. Um, I haven't been using Carlotta as much, and that makes sense because she's not very good at TOA. She's decent at TOA. She's fantastic, but there's not a lot of buff shielding for her. And she's not very good in Whimpering Wastes. Every time I use her, she kind of comes out lackluster because her damage is too single target focused. Rather when I can just be using her or Cardathea, who's even better. It's interesting to see that Camellia, like the prime AoE DPS unit, fell down so much. Yeah, so it is what it is. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. I don't know what the next video is going to be, but I guess we'll figure it out.